Alright, so today, I think this video we're going to be watching, we're going to be right into the 12 most insane One Piece theories. Let's get into it.
Searched One Piece for over 200 hours and found 12 theories that would explain.
And we're going to be giving our take on it as well, obviously, or else it wouldn't really be a reaction, would it?
Everything. For example, there is this wild theory about Laugh Tale, Devil Fruits, and Shanks that not many people talk about. Did you ever notice that two of the people on Roger's ship got really sick when they were approaching Laugh Tale? You probably did, and it's easy to dismiss this as a coincidence, but I don't think it was. You see, the only two people that got sick and didn't make it to Laugh Tale were Buggy and Toki, and they were the only two confirmed people with Devil Fruit powers on the ship. So, is it possible that Devil Fruit users get sick as soon as they get close to Laugh Tale?
Nah, duh, bro. I feel like this is a common one that everyone knows. So like this isn't really like new or nothing. Let's hopefully there's some interesting ones I can actually do like a deeper dive in it. And y'all comment down because this is my first long form video in a while. First ever one with a face cam. So y'all comment what y'all want me to react to next. What y'all want me to do.
Well, I think this theory actually makes sense, and there is one more important thing that is hinting.
I'm gonna just go ahead and say that guy's channel name is the Jaegerists. So I should go watch him too. That's what this video is from.
Towards it. In chapter 1054, Shanks tells Ben that it's finally time they go and claim One Piece. Now, the interesting thing about red-haired pirates is that none of them are confirmed Devil Fruit users. Shanks may already know that Devil Fruit users can't go to Laugh Tale, and therefore forbade anyone in his crew to eat one. This would also make red-haired pirates the only pirate crew able to get the One Piece. At the end of each theory, I'll also speculate how probable it is to be true, and for this one, I'll give the score of 6 out of 10. This is only the first out of 12 theories I have.
Honestly, the probability score on that one should have been way higher, because considering it didn't just happen once. 2 Devil Fruit users got sick when they went close to Laugh Tale, so it should be pretty obvious.
I'm covering today, and the last one is the most insane theory I've ever heard. So, you all know about the 5 elders, but do you know how old they are? What if I tell you that they may just be immortal? Okay, let me explain. Not much is known about the Gorosei, but one main thing supporting this theory is that they looked exactly the same 20 years ago in Ohara flashback. The one way they could achieve this is through Oppa Oppa no Mi and its ability to grant immortality. Other than that, there is not much backing this theory, and knowing that looks in the anime can sometimes be deceiving, I don't think this theory has high probability of being true.
Oh yeah, you can never trust age in anime. Oh my, you can never trust it. Never.
True. Okay, so what exactly is One Piece? Well, there is this one theory that would actually make a lot of sense. So, in my opinion, the One Piece is some kind of object, which was confirmed by Oda himself, by the way, that would allow Luffy to destroy the Red Line. Alright, but why would the Straw Hats want to do this? Well, this actually ties in perfectly with their original dreams. Luffy wants to be the king of pirates, and the freest person in the world. If the Red Line is destroyed, he'd be able to travel wherever he wants and would bring all people closer together. Nami wants to make a map of the entire world, which would definitely be much easier if this big line weren't separating it in half. Sanji wants to find the all blue, all 4 seas together, which is exactly what would happen if Red Line is destroyed. And finally, Brook wants to fulfill his promise and reunite with Laboon. And since the crew is now in the new world, Laboon is right behind the Red Line. The last thing supporting this is Madame Shirley's prediction that Luffy will destroy the Fishman Island, which would also come true since it's located right under the Red Line. I have to give this theory 8 out of 10 points, since in my opinion, it has a good chance of
Yeah, this one will probably happen, but why does its probability score higher than the one where Devil Fruit users get sick near Laugh Tale? I feel like that one should get a 10 out of 10. But, alright.
actually happening. Marshall D. Teach, or Blackbeard, is one of the weirdest characters in the entire story. Besides his appearance and enormous love for cherry pies, there is something else really weird about him. I believe that Blackbeard has multiple personalities, 3 to be exact. There are a few crucial moments that prove this. When he first met Luffy while eating pies in the restaurant, he seemed really childish, competing with Luffy, who can order more food and generally had a comedic vibe. However, only a few moments later, when he met Luffy again outside of the restaurant, he seemed much more calm and mature. He gave Luffy a speech about dreams and wished him luck in finding the Sky Island. After this conversation, Luffy and Zoro would both comment that Blackbeard is not he, but they. Another huge fact supporting this theory is that Teach is the only character who can wield the powers of 2 devil fruits without dying. A few additional details are that Blackbeard's flag has 3 heads, he has 3 pistols around his belt, and his beard is split into 3 parts. Alright, the next theory states that you will subscribe.
Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people do say that he has whether it's 3 personalities, 3 souls, 3 whatever you want to call it, he has to have some type of something like that to be able to wield more than one devil fruit. Because obviously, if he has another one, it basically, I remember at the beginning of the story, it goes into their soul and something, the spirit of the fruit. So if he has multiple souls, each one could go into a different one, if you know what I'm saying.
Subscribe to this channel in the next 5 seconds, and it has a 10 out of 10 probability of happening. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thanks, let's move on. Are you ready for an insane theory about God Valley and Shanks? Of course you are. Here it is. You probably know that God Valley incident happened 38 years ago. At first, I thought that there is nothing unusual with this, but then I googled Shanks' age, and you won't believe what I found. Shanks is exactly 39 years old, which means he was a baby during the God Valley incident. Now, we know that Shanks was a member of Roger's Pirates even as a young child, but how exactly did he join the crew? Here is when this theory comes in. I think Shanks is the son of Rox. Think about it. After they defeated Rox, either Garp or Roger probably went to his ship to make sure that there is no one left. When they searched the ship, instead of finding pirates, they found a 1-year-old baby Shanks. Since it was a baby of a pirate, it's likely that it wouldn't be treated very nicely by the world government. Therefore, Garp entrusted baby to Roger. Another very interesting fact that's confirming this theory is that when Roger held Momonosuke and Hiyori, he said, "It's been a while since I last held a baby," hinting that there was a baby on the ship a long time ago. Alright, let's talk a bit about the first warlord Luffy came across.
You think he found 2 there because if y'all don't know about Shanks' twin, the Royal Knight. Don't know if his name's been revealed yet, but we do know he does have a twin. I think Roger had both of them, or just one.
Sir Crocodile. In episode 443, during the Impel Down arc, it was revealed that Ivankov has some history with Crocodile. Their history was never dwelled upon, but Crocodile got real.
This one. This one's probably the most funny one. It would be insanely stupid if it came true. But this would be funny. The she crocodile, man.
Really uncomfortable while talking with him. Based on this, and the fact that Ivankov was shown to be able to change a person's gender, the theory of Crocodile originally being a woman becomes a strong possibility. There are a few great details backing this theory. The first one is that Ivankov intentionally called Crocodile Croco Boy, which may just subtly imply that he wasn't always a boy. Another great detail is that during Roger's execution, Crocodile is the only character whose face wasn't shown. I actually went back to check this, and it's true. Doflamingo, Buggy, Mihawk, and Gecko Moria all have their faces shown. The only face that we don't see is Crocodile's. So, why does Sanji have fire-based powers? In the show, it was explained that he simply spins at high speeds and heats up his legs due to friction. But what if there's more to it than...
We know it now. It's because of his Vega. It's not Vega. I don't know why I almost said Vagabond. It's because of his enhancements that he got at birth from his father. They're physically enhanced humans. Him and all of his siblings. We know it's from his enhancements.
That? Well...
Because they can all wield some type of ability, whether that be poison, lightning. Sanji can make a slice of fire. And they can each use like some type of special ability like that.
My theory is that Sanji is actually genetically modified to be a Lunarian by his father. I know what you're thinking. How would that be possible? I also didn't believe it at first, but when I did some research, I found out two very important things that support this theory. You see, Sanji's father, Judge, was working with Dr. Vegapunk and Queen on some kind of off-the-legal weapon development. And there, he learned about lineage factor, which is basically a way to create life itself. He later used this to modify his children while Sora was still pregnant. So, what if he used some of the Lunarian DNA on Sanji during this time? Well, we know in the past, the world government captured King and experimented on him due to his Lunarian powers. So, it wouldn't be a stretch to say that Judge somehow obtained some of King's DNA that the world government had and used it on Sanji. I already hear you saying how Sanji's modifications were unsuccessful because he didn't lose his emotions and didn't get any special abilities. But that doesn't have to mean anything. As we saw in Reiju's case, a person can still retain emotions even after these modifications. Maybe Sanji's powers just took longer to manifest than usual. 5 more theories are left, and this next one about Monkey D. Dragon actually has a 9 out of 10 probability of happening. Even after 1,000 episodes, Oda still...
Like, what's he basing the probability scale on, though? Like, what is he basing it on? Because, like, I feel like the first one would have been a 10 out of 10, and the second one would have been like a 7 out of 10. But, whatever.
Didn't fully reveal Dragon's exact powers and abilities. But don't worry, there are a few scenes in the anime that tell us exactly what they are. Ever since his first appearance in Logtown, Dragon was seemingly always accompanied by strong gusts of wind. This by itself doesn't prove much, but when you remember that Luffy was saved from being executed by random lightning from the sky, and that they managed to leave Logtown safely because strong winds pushed them away, it becomes much more clear that Dragon has weather-based abilities. Also, I thought I remembered the scene where Dragon is actually seen flying using wind, so I went back to check, and I was right! In episode 737, you can actually see Dragon levitating while carrying Sabo onto his ship. Alright, let's talk about one of the most mysterious characters.
See, that was a small detail I didn't notice. I knew the one about Logtown. I feel like most people who watch One Piece do know about that one. And it's already been theorized about him having one of the 4, like, god fruits. They were, like, mentioned in Skypiea, the 4 gods. But I didn't notice that small detail in episode 900.
In the entire show, and the huge secret he may be hiding. Of course, we are talking about Shanks and the theory that he is actually a celestial dragon. There are actually 2 big hints.
Bro, we know that's his twin. That's not him. We know that's his twin.
That's why this may be true. Firstly, in chapter 580, when Shanks
Already been confirmed. It's his twin.
arrived at Marineford, he managed to convince Sengoku to stop the war and give him the bodies of Whitebeard and Ace in order to prepare a proper burial. It's already really weird why Sengoku would listen to a dangerous pirate like Shanks, but what's even more interesting are the exact words he said. "Only because it's you, red-haired, I'll allow it." It's really out of character for Sengoku to do something like this, no matter how powerful Shanks may be. The second big hint happened in chapter 907, when Shanks entered Marioa in order to talk with 5 elders. It's absolutely unthinkable that any pirate would ever be allowed to enter that place, especially the one of the most wanted criminals in the world. One of the elders even said almost identical words as Sengoku. "Only because it's you, we made time to talk." While we are talking about Shanks, there is one more really interesting theory about him. You all know that Shanks was the one who initially motivated Luffy to become a pirate. He even sacrificed his arm and said that he bet it on the new age. Well, since he was the reason why Luffy went to the sea, don't you think it would be fitting if he was also his last obstacle and one in the possession of the Last Road Poneglyph? I think that it's highly possible that
I didn't look at the date on this video. I assume these theories are a little bit older, because we know Shanks has the last Poneglyph, because Kid tried to take it and obviously failed. And obviously, yeah, Luffy's gonna have to take it from him at some point to reach Laugh Tale. This video might be a little bit old. I'm sorry, I didn't look at the date on this.
Right before Roger disbanded his pirate crew, he told Shanks to hide the last Poneglyph and asked him to guard it so it would not fall into the wrong hands. Some years later, after Shanks heard Luffy say the same words Roger once said, Shanks finally found the person he was looking for and he bet his arm that Luffy will become a pirate worthy of One Piece. Before we cover the wildest theory on this list, let's first cover this very interesting theory about Fujitora and Akainu. The two didn't have a lot of conversations with each other throughout the show, but there was one conversation in chapter 712 that revealed one very interesting fact. During this conversation, Fujitora calls Akainu Saka-san, which is informal and not really expected since Akainu holds the highest rank of Fleet Admiral. Because of this, a lot of people, myself included, think that this is probably suggesting that the two are related to each other, most likely being brothers. While I was doing research for this video, I stumbled upon a One Piece data book, and in there, it was written that the two admirals seem to know each other pretty well.
No, Fujitora just does not give a crap about his position. Fujitora just simply doesn't like him.
Well, which further proves this theory. And the final thing is that after the incident in Dressrosa, the only punishment Akainu gave Fujitora was not to return to any marine base until he captured Luffy and Law. I'm pretty sure that if any other admiral embarrassed the world government like that, there would be a much stricter punishment. Alright, so, did you ever notice the left eye symbolism throughout the entire show? Take these manga volumes for example. They all feature a character with a closed left eye. Also, a lot of characters in the show have some kind of marking on their left eyes. This includes Luffy, Garp, Dragon, Zoro, Shanks, Sabo, and Kid. A lot of people say that all of this
He might be onto something with this one. I haven't heard of this one.
probably means nothing, but I don't think that's true. Me and a bunch of other fans actually think that this solves one of the biggest mysteries in the entire One Piece. Okay, hear me out. Do you remember the Skypiea and Jaya arcs where it was revealed that both islands were one island in the past? Well, if you look closely, you'll notice that Jaya has a huge hole where the left eye of the skull is supposed to be. Due to everything we previously mentioned, this also can't Tail. This would also make sense considering that Roger's treasure is called One Piece and Laugh Tale may exactly be one piece Jaya is missing. If you want to learn more about this theory, Ohara made a great video on it a while back, so make sure to check out his video for a detailed explanation.
Alright, that was a really good video. I'll see y'all in the next one.